DJ, how long are you gonna let them go? Give them a break already. Plus, Michaela finds a friend. Trust is tested at the daily challenge. Two lovebirds stay behind to bang while the other two lovebirds fight for their lives in the game. And in the end, Tyler and Monte go 3 hours plus long on the elimination from hell. It's the Challenge USA 2 Episode 8 recap coming up right now. What up, my fellow challenge lovers? Welcome to the Challenge Historian, where we dive deep into all things MTV's The Challenge, past, present, or future is happening in the Challenge universe, and we are here to document it. I am your host and dedicated Challenge Historian, Jacob Hollaball. Thank you so very, very much for being here with me on this Friday morning. We were up super late last night after the episode, finishing up some other work that took precedence. So here we are bright and early in the morning instead, recording, recapping episode 8 of the Challenge USA. We are nearing the end here. I know it may not seem like it, given how many people are left in the season and how many people we need to get rid of before a finale can happen, but we're almost there. This is episode 8. There is 11 episodes, I believe, in the season. Still don't 100% quote me on that, but it seems like that is more or less the confirmed, and that it will end the same week that Survivor and Amazing Race start. And, now it's all on CBS. So it's just, they go Big Brother Challenge right into Amazing Race Survivor. I think that's very smart from them, and I think it's going to work out very well for them. So we are here. Episode 8, Challenge USA 2. Quick programming reminders before we dive in. This week, just Challenge USA 2. Next week, just Challenge USA 2 recap. The following week is when we will kick off, hopefully, our Survivor coverage here with a little preview and kind of recap or so of the, the modern era of Survivor. Introduce you to the co-host I'm going to have for this season of Survivor. And then the following week will be the premiere of Survivor, the finale of Challenge USA. And so we'll start to have 2 episodes a week for a couple there. And then when USA 2 is over, we will, of course, not be just leaving you high and dry. No challenge related content. We'll see if we know by then when 39 is coming, when, if ever, All Stars 4 is coming. 39 first is, by all accounts, what it's going to be. And fill in the time, the off season, with some other challenge related content. So we've got you covered. We've got your back. Thanks as always for being here. Much love, much appreciation to you for being here, listening, watching, however you are consuming. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. Literally, it does. It's the best thing ever. So agenda, as always, walk through the episode, all the storylines, all the opinions, all the thoughts worth thoughting out, awards, power rankings, predictions at the end. Ready to go? I am too. Here we go. We start things where the episode starts. We're back at the house. Michaela is ultimately okay with the fact that she doesn't get to defect, choose a new team. It's now an individual game. She's good with it. Josh is happy about it. Tori's happy about it. We get a string of folks saying, they're more or less happy about the decision. I don't know if I believe every single one of them, especially Tori and Michaela, given that I'm like, dude, Michaela, I don't know. It seems pretty nice if you could have just swapped over there with Cassidy and suddenly the blue team is just, I mean, if she would have been able to swap, the blue team would literally be Michaela, Desi, Tori, Bananas, Wes, Fessel. Like, come on. That sounds pretty good. So I get that she was playing an independent game. Now she's playing a truly independent game. But it seemed like it was a walk to the finals for those 6 if they would have been allowed to do so. Anywho, we do find out a couple things in this first house segment. The main thing that we can deduce from the different groups we see talking and ultimately not that interesting of conversations are had, but who is with each other is interesting because we've kind of seen throughout this episode and at this early part, Survivor has been split into 2 factions at this point. There's so many Survivor players left. All the Big Brother players are gone. Some vets are gone. The Amazing Racers are gone. It's just Survivor is kicking ass again on this show. And we do see, though, there is a bit of a split between them. We know Desi, Chanel, and Michaela. Really, we know Desi and Chanel are super tight, and Michaela is more or less a third member of that trio still. But then we see in the beginning Michelle, Chris, Sebastian, Cassidy, plus Tori talking in a room. And we kind of, this isn't the only time we've seen this. And throughout this episode, we see it multiple more times. those are kind of the two factions. You got Michaela, Desi, and Chanel. You got Michelle, Chris, Sebastian, Cassidy. They would definitely vote together to get Big Brother folks out, as they do later in this episode. But there is that divide between that group of 7. It's really kind of a group of 3, a group of 4, work together when they need to, not work together, or potentially in the future not work together when they no longer can or want to. And again, Tori is kind of a floating member of this a little, because she gets to go where Sebastian goes, and Michelle, Chris, Sebastian, Cassie aren't exactly the most tight-knit alliance. They're kind of just who's actually willing to work with me kind of alliance. So Tori can be in on the conversations, no problem. Big Brother, at this point, the numbers are low, and it just isn't real anyways. The only time it's real is when Josh needs some votes or some friends to talk to and act like he has power over, which we see, him talking in this opening segment, and just kind of like saying, yeah, we have Big Brother, but Monte being very aware of what's actually real. Like Josh and Fessy are in it for Josh and Fessy in the vets before Big Brother, and Big Brother's just the thing they say when they would like one of us to maybe vote with them or side with them or anything like that. So that's all there is left really of the Big Brother alliance at this point. It's a bunch of pairs of 2 kind of saying an alliance here, there, not really actually being in an alliance. But the one new alliance we get is then Bananas and Michaela. They more or less, seemingly from everything we see at least, make a pretty strong agreement, or pretty fairly open to the idea of working together, helping each other out. There's a pseudo apology from Bananas, knowing, he was on the team that just sent Michaela in, but sees the opportunity. She's on her own. It's now an individual game. And he's smart to see someone that doesn't have any males in her kind of alliance or on her side, who's really good, who would be worth making, who would be worth working with, and just making an alliance happen with. He sees that, very smart, goes, does the approach, handles the approach very well. She is then smart to say yes to him in this situation, because he lays out the whole, like, I have a bad reputation from some stuff in the past, but I always stab people in the front. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but he does have it actually good. It's one of those where it's like, well, yeah, he has done 20 some seasons now. And yeah, he has gone the last 4 or 5 seasons or whatever of not the full of redemption tour, the way we've seen some other cast members in recent, be like a full, like, I need to completely 180 from things I was before. But he's played nice for the most part and been a part of the Vacation Alliance and the Majority Alliance and the Vets and everything else, and been pretty loyal throughout all the way to those on recent seasons. And so she has a little bit of a reason to trust him, but the real reason she could trust him is because he kind of lays out and she lays out. It would make no sense for it. Like, there'd be no advantage to him to getting her out. Like, it doesn't, the way the game is set up, and it's very, the women are on this side, the men are on that side. And if anything, the men want the best women there and the women want the best men there. And that's the only incentive really they have. And she's one of the best women there and he's one of the best men there. And so she's smart to see the situation and realize, I do need some of the strong guys in the house. That would be a good thing. And whether I trust him or not, I don't need to, because there's no reason for him in this game, in the situation that we currently have in front of us, the format we currently have. There would be nothing that would be advantageous to him to screw me over, to stab me in the back, anything. Even if it came down to, like, somehow, some way, Bananas had to vote Tori or Michaela, it'd be like, okay, well, like, it's not going to come down to that. I don't see how that is even possible. And so, yeah, very smart by her. And got to say, loved the moment. I felt validated the moment she mentions that, I kind of wanted to work with Wes. And if you listen to last week's recap, I couldn't, I saw that and was like, Wes missed an opportunity. She confirms Wes missed an opportunity. Well, she wanted to work with a strong vet. She had one on her team. She kind of worked with him, but it became icy. It became frayed, and he missed his opportunity. And now Bananas sliding in to take it right out from under him. Then we get to the daily challenge. I really like the game. As we, said on last week, the preview showed it was going to be at the location where we've had some funny and interesting moments happen before. This is the site of Huey and Ashley's kind of funny back and forth breakdown. This is the site of Tommy getting concussed, but finishing the whole thing with his pants down before being eliminated from the game. So a lot went down at this location last time they were in Croatia. And this time, a little more straightforward. Thankfully, no one hurt. No super big funny. They didn't really have to jump off, and nothing on the funny side either, but a great game. There's a lot of swimming. There's diving, which is impossible. I think we at home, viewers at home, especially if you're like, don't, I don't get in the water regularly or anything like that. But I am someone who struggles to go very deep at all in your pool or lake or certainly ocean. And so anytime they have to dive, I'm always like, I don't think we realize at home while watching how difficult it is. And it seemed like that puzzle board was pretty damn deep and it seemed really difficult. So it's swimming, it's diving, which is impossible. There's a word puzzle, which is fun. There's the element of them being able to work together, not knowing the times of the other people who have went. I really like the whole design, the whole thing, everything about it. The one thing I would maybe tweak to make it go from good to great is I know they randomize, air quotes for those just listening, doing strong air quotes, randomize the who's in which heat together. I want that to be a little draft. Give us a little extra, like, hey, TJ pulls 4 names out of a hat. Those 4 people in that order get to pick a little quick draft. Who do you want to be in your heat with you? It would add extra strategy. People trying to bunch up, like who's my alliance members who would work. We could kind of turn. I know that would. I guess I'm now contradicting myself. As I hear that out loud, I'm like, well, it just kind of turns back into the teams more or less. But there could be some strategy in it. I don't know. The only thing that I ever don't like about challenges like this is just thinking, well, they kind of picked who's with who, and some people got big advantages because of that, and some people got a little bit screwed because of that. So it's the only part I don't like. The first heat, none of them work together. It's hilarious. Cassidy doesn't share. Fessy doesn't share back. It's a mess and it's fun and it's good. Bananas, then one of the big moments of the daily was him saying, he's the only one that can get down deep enough to see any of the words. He comes back up and he's at least nice enough to tell them, here's your clue. The word I saw was pause. And I did not even in the moment think, and I was a little bit confused at their confusion at first when it was like, wait a minute, now they have no idea what to do. And then it's revealed they think he meant pause, Pause. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And I have no idea if Bananas did this on purpose. I don't know if he thought that through. It seems kind of odd that, like, I'm not going to tell you the word that I think is the combo, but I'm going to tell you the word I saw that is the clue to get to the word. So it seemed, I don't know, maybe it is actually just a smart half measure of like, I'm not totally working with you, but I'm not trying to be a dick or anything either. I'm giving you the same info I now have and letting you come to your own conclusion with that info. But it's hilarious that it works out that they have no idea. They're trying the wrong word, all the wrong themes, all the wrong everything. He wins his heat. Then we get to the third heat. I thought Wes was going to dominate. We don't get any commentary from Wes about his swimming acumen. Maybe he's still obviously a very good swimmer, but maybe it's just tailed off, 20 years in to this from where he used to be a super duper high level swimmer. And maybe he's just not practicing the strokes as much. And so maybe his times aren't as amazing, but he's still a very good swimmer. I expected him to dominate. And I especially the moment he doesn't tell them the first word, he just swims away and then gets the lock and swims away again. I loved it. Amazing. Fantastic decision on his part. He just then kind of out of nowhere doesn't back it up. He kind of flops. And I can't believe then he ends up at the next puzzle and everyone ends up there with him. And then they doesn't even leave that puzzle first. It doesn't seem like the second puzzle is all that hard given how quickly others came up with everything. And that's why I asked the question. I don't know. I can't come up with a reason why Wes wouldn't want to win this daily challenge. That seems like that would be a bad idea for him. But at the same time, I'm like, how did you get stumped on the second puzzle so badly? And then why did it seem like you were trying to like borderline tie Sebastian? Like you still wanted to be the winner of your heat, but you were dragging it out as long as you could. I don't know. I don't know what was going on there, but it seemed like he maybe could have done better and or won this challenge, especially given that Tori, if we are to believe TJ and the results at the end, Tori beat Bananas' time by 6 minutes. And so Wes was at that board way longer than Tori was there with her. We could have just swam with her and like convinced her to tell him and like made a little side deal. I don't know. They're already kind of working together. Like, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. But Tori got the word cats off of seeing the word Broadway on the board in the ocean, which is the most difficult pull that anyone made. And I was kind of like, that can't be how you came up with cats. Like, really? Is it? But sure, I guess if you see Broadway and you're thinking short letter words like wicked, cats, I guess, yeah, it makes sense. Maybe it's one of the first one. Rent, I think I would probably, yeah, try. I don't know. But that one kind of shocked me. She doesn't tell Sebastian the code. Funny moment, but of course he's turned on by that fact. So try try a little less there, Sebastian. It's okay. You guys get to stay home from the bar and fuck later. Anyways, it's all good. Final group all picks Josh to win, which I think is interesting given it's Desi and Chris, but it seemed like Desi, Chris, Josh, and Corey maybe went out there with a full-on deal of let's try to get one of us to win the whole thing and then protect the other four, regardless of other alliances coming into this daily challenge. So Josh always wheeling and dealing, always politicking, and it pays off almost for him in this moment. Also, shout out Desi, who is a good swimmer, it turns out. If only we would have got to find out how good of a swimmer she was last season. Still makes me mad. Still makes me mad. Anyways, on to the bar night. The house and the bar night. Honestly, this is where the episode, it was a pretty average episode compared to the rest of the season. So there wasn't a ton going on. Bananas is doing the right thing by building this alliance with now all of the strong females in the house. He's brought in it from just Michaela to like, let's talk to Chanel, let's talk to Desi, and let's bring Tori in as well. And like me and Tori can work with the three of you. From Bananas' point of view, again, this makes perfect sense. Hey, I think one of you four women are going to win any of the daily challenges. And so I want you to have my back. And then also, if we make a final and at any point have to work with a woman, I would like to be working with one of you or a rotation of all of you. So perfect sense from his side is the appropriate thing to do from the male point of view in the game. From Tori's point of view, I don't know if I would do this. I totally get where she's at and the safety of it. And, maybe if it's just walk to a final because of it, it's worked out for her many seasons in a row now to just like, let's have all the strongest people or let's have the biggest alliance and be loyal to each other. And we have a cakewalk to the final and then we battle it out in the final and you win one, you lose a couple, however it goes down. I get that. It's good. She doesn't totally have a ton of options in this moment when her number one in the house, Bananas, is making this deal with three other women in the house to begin with. But I'm also I don't trust them to actually look. I don't trust Desi, Michaela, and Chanel because they shouldn't. They should want to get Tori out still. They should be like, yeah, Bananas, we're with you. We're not necessarily with her. That's how this deal is going to go down. And I think that's how the deal will eventually go down at some point these last few episodes. So if I'm Tori, I'm not trusting this. I'm still targeting Michaela and Desi if I'm her 100%, but she plays nice for this episode. Her and Bananas having gotten the win. They do the easy big brother vote. They throw in the lovebirds, Alyssa and Tyler. We go to the bar. Well, almost everyone goes to the bar. Tori and Sebastian stay behind to have sex in peace, which is a great idea. Great idea by them. Very fantastic, after already having their first, was that them or was that Tyler and Alyssa, whoever, people get interrupted in the bedrooms in these houses. There's like 6 beds in a room. It's a very good idea. It's also an idea. I'm guessing that there was an agreement made from production who's like, you've got to go to the bar. Everyone goes to the bar. We're filming you. You're filming a television show. Please and thank you. Get on the bus. To get out of that, I'm guessing there was some sort of agreement. If the two of you want to stay behind, you've got to stay in don't go hiding away in some closet somewhere. We need you on camera. We need you to go do the little confessional cam thing booth that we have set up. We need you to be cute. We need you to give us something. So I'm guessing that's why it's, if anyone's out there, like my initial thought is like, you stayed behind, but then you decided to like film a little joint confessional together. Like, no, just like go do what you stayed behind to do. We know what you stayed behind to do. But then I realized production probably asked them to. And then I was like, man, come on, give us something more. Go hang out in the pool, make a huge date night of it, dude. And I don't know, make it more entertaining than finding out Tori's middle name is Patricia, which I guess was funny or whatever. I don't know. That's her middle name. Cool. Anyways, the others are at the bar. And nothing really exciting happens there. Josh eventually does Monte dirty to end this segment when, Chris says, I would like to get Monte. I want this to be big brother on big brother. And Josh, while he doesn't say anything, he smiles and cheers to it. So I guess, yeah, so much for big brother love from Josh. Pretty great by him. And yeah, that's all for that segment. Then we're at the arena. And I will say Bananas and Tori's outfits, pretty funny. I got a good laugh out of it. I have to believe that they're winning over a few haters out there this season. Not nowhere near all of they've got a lot of haters, both of them. Bananas even more so than Tori. But I think you'd have to, even if you're a hater, admit that they're having some good moments here and there. Come on now. And as someone who's been a pretty big fan of both at many different times and still more or less is, yeah, I had a good laugh at their outfits. Thought that was fun. Wes voting Kate Cassidy in is also very funny. I have no idea why. It doesn't really make any sense. It seems totally unnecessary and totally pointless, other than he finds it funny. I found it funny. Obviously, she doesn't find it funny. I like Cassidy a lot, and so I feel bad that this was happening. But it was, I don't know. I got a good laugh on that as well. Then they play this absurd fucking game. Holy cow, this game out of control. There had to be a couple rules we didn't know about, like what you were allowed to do as far as placing the pile of balls or like gathering the balls, because I know the whole difficulty of it was not that when it fell off the spool, it didn't just sit right next to the spool, is that, they were on this elevated platform with, sloped. So the balls all rolled away and you had to go collect them all again. But none of them at any point did bring all of the balls to like one pile as close to the spool as they could get, like at the base of the slope, still in the sand, but still, half the distance from their original pile and not all spread out in different directions from the spool. So they could just do the same line back and forth. So it felt like there was maybe some rules as usual that we did not know. Who knows though? This thing is brutal. Your legs would be so dead. And it's one of those that it gets harder the longer you go. If you don't get it done early, your legs starts going and going and going. They're going through this intense hours long workout. So you're getting wobbly. You're shaking a little. It makes your movements worse. And therefore, your thing fall again. It gets harder the longer you go. It's very, very, very good design if you want to be evil and mess with these people and make this brutal and really hard, which seems like they were totally down with, because the whole time I was like, at some point, they're going to change something. TJ is going to be like, hey, let me bring out, we got a little extra half an inch barrier to help hold the balls in there a little bit better. Or, I don't know. Okay, you only have to get half of them or something, some way to make it a little easier or shorten thing. And no, they just go and go and go. And I would love to know. I wonder if maybe one of them will talk about it or anyone will talk afterwards of like, were there any parameters in place of how long we were willing? Like, if they were just shy of 3 hours, if they would have hit the 3 hour mark and both of them would have like dropped everything, would they have said, fuck it, and like scrap the whole thing, come back the next night, which they have done once or twice in the past that we know of at least, and like come up with something new and never told us? Like what would they have done? I don't know, but they let them go for a long time. It's two Big Brother players, but this felt very Survivor-esque of this challenge might take a very long time, and we're okay with that. We're just going to sit here and watch. Thought Jeff Probst might walk out and shake TJ's hand and welcome him to the club. But it did not. Tyler gets it done in the end, which is good because, his showmance with Alyssa, well, wonderful. They seem like great individuals. I'm very happy they're together off of the show and having a great time. It is a little bit of a boring showmance, to be honest. But it's at least something. And Monte sadly wasn't really giving us much of anything as far as storylines or anything go for this season. So if we have to lose someone, I liked him. I think there's potential there, but I'm okay with him walking out the door. Now for the awards. And man, the quote drought continues. Where are the witty jokes and funny comments? I actually do think my guy Fessy had not anything like spectacular, but he said something in this episode that I was like, I could at least write that down, I guess. But then I was like, no, it's still not even good enough. No one gets the best quote award. We'll give honorary Tori and Bananas, honorary the outfits were funny. So we'll let that replace the award, the quote award. But like, come on, someone give me something here. I need better. I need more word play to work with. Best moment. Here's where, I don't know if you picked up on this in this episode, but as I wrote out the best moments of the episode, the nominees, I was like, I didn't realize how much this person was making this episode enjoyable. Nominee number one, Wes not telling them the word and swimming away. Found it very fun. Nominee number 2, Wes voting for Cassidy and laughing about it openly on the dais. Found it very fun. Third, Wes and Desi announcing during the elimination. Loved the little moment. She reaches over to him and, does the little announcer back and forth, fake microphone in their hand. Loved that. Those are my 3 favorite moments of the whole episode. Wes-centric, all of them. So we'll go with Wes and Desi to give both of them the award for this one. But as it turns out, Wes, in an episode that was kind of average, kind of a little bit lacking here and there on the entertainment, he may have had a bigger impact than we thought, which is why episode MVP, Monty's on there, Alyssa's on there. We'll give Bananas and Tori some love. They did win. They did wear the outfits. They made some alliances. They probably in reality should be the episode MVP, or Tyler, who's then in second, I would say, for the episode MVP. But I'm giving it to Wes. I don't know. I wasn't that intrigued by Tyler, Bananas, and Tori, anything they were doing, even if they were having, positive moments for themselves. So I give it to Wes. And, I'm backtracking a little now. I don't know. Tori did stay home from the bar and have some sex. She did have the funny outfits thing. She did win the daily challenge. She built a new alliance. She should probably be the episode MVP. But I'm still giving it to Wes. I don't know. An average episode. And he had the 3 moments that I found the most entertaining. So yeah, Wes is your MVP. Power rankings and predictions now to close it out. And guess what? They didn't change at all. Females, Desi, Tori, Michaela, one of those 3 will win. You know what? I'm going to switch. Chanel's above Cassidy now. That's all fair. We will make one change. Chanel is above Cassidy. Chanel's in 4th and could win. I'll throw her in her own new tier. I still got Desi, Tori, Michaela in tier 1, Chanel tier 2, Cassidy, and anyone else I haven't named. We're not talking enough about Michelle anymore. Michelle was the star of the first couple episodes. I need more Michelle. I love Michelle so much, but Michaela, Tori, Desi, one of those 3 is going to win this season. I feel certain of it at this point. Male power rankings: Bananas, Wes, Fessel, Corey, Chris, but it's Bananas, Wes, Fessel for me. And actually, I'd probably another change in the moment. Chris goes above Corey. Corey had a 0 confessional episode. He and Fessel are both now in that range where it's like, you're, for the vets of the show who have had storylines before, know how to have good confessionals and other things. You're barely being shown, so I don't know that you're about to win the season after all of that. It feels like you'd have a little more of a spotlight. So maybe I should move Chris all the way up to 3rd. Maybe I should even have Tyler on here. I don't know, but Bananas and Wes. I think one of the vets is going to bring home the title over on CBS. As for predictions and what I think, 2 for 3 last week. Guys elimination, check. Monty goes home, check. Thought Wes and Desi would be the winners of the daily challenge that made this all Big Brother male elimination happen. So got that one wrong, but we're doing better. 2 for 3, 2 for 4, 3 for 4. We're on a little hot streak here. We're staying above 50% the last few weeks. So for next week, predictions. I think Desi and Fessel win the daily challenge. I'm going with that. TJ, insinuates at the end, rest up or anything. I think we're going to get a pretty endurance heavy, maybe daily challenge, and maybe the mini final, if there is one of the season, will be this one. And if that is the case, then I'll take Desi and Fessy. Fessy wins the quote unquote mini final. Like the last few seasons he's been on, almost every season I feel like he's been on, like that's his bread and butter is give me the quote unquote mini final, which is usually just 5 miles carrying some shit as a daily challenge. And he excels at that on flat land, not in the mountains. So Desi and Desi and Fessel, maybe I should just stick to Fessy and it won't get mixed up. They win the daily challenge. Second prediction, double elimination. Look, we're 8 episodes in of an 11 episode season and we got too many people left. There's either going to be a big old purge at the end or we're going to get back to the double eliminations here. I think we get back to double eliminations. And then we see in the next week on, I forget who it was that's saying, we got to get a big dog out of here. I think that was Sebastian and Tori's getting mad about it or something. Who knows? I don't know. But I do know this. I think I feel horrible. I hope it's not the case because I like him so much. And I would like to just see him waltz to a final totally in the background. But I think Corey is the one that goes home. I think Corey is the quote unquote big dog that ends up getting targeted because I think the big dogs, the actual one, Bananas and Wes, wiggle their way out of it somehow, some way, and that Corey ends up in that elimination and goes home. So double elimination, Desi and Fessel win the daily. Corey somehow, some way ends up being the one to go home. That's what we got for next week. And that'll be the only podcast next week covering if those things come to fruition on episode 9 of the Challenge USA 2. So that's your recap. That's everything we've got for you today and this week. Thank you, as always, for being here. Hit me up on Instagram at Challenge Historian if you want to chat the challenge and or Survivor coming up. We will be covering it here. I will be covering it, I believe, elsewhere as well. So lots of Survivor coverage coming with the, of course, continued onslaught of challenge coverage as well. I love you. I appreciate you. I will talk to you next week. Peace.